It's amazing, when you think about all the incredible things AI can do these days,
Hmm.
self-driving cars, medical diagnoses, it seems like the possibilities are truly endless.
It really does feel that way. The advancements are happening so rapidly.
But, something I've been thinking about lately is like, who's actually behind all this, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's teaching these AI systems how to, think?
That's a great question. It's something most people don't really consider, but it's crucial. Behind every AI, there's this hidden workforce of humans, people who are diligently training these algorithms.
That's right. And today we're going to do a deep dive into the world of data labeling and, the often unsung heroes of the AI revolution, data labelers.
Yeah, these individuals, they're the foundation of AI development. They label huge amounts of data, images, text, audio, all to help AI systems learn.
And it's not just like busy work, right? It's seriously important. I was reading about data labelers in Kenya, and it was surprising to learn how little they get paid for such an essential job, sometimes as little as $1 an hour.
Wow, that's really low.
It really made me think about, the global side of things in the AI industry.
Yeah, you hit a key point there. The AI industry, it's all about this cutting edge technology. But the reality for many of the workers who are actually powering this progress is very different. And a lot of it depends on, like you said, where they live.
It's a huge difference in pay for basically the same work.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think delabeling would need the same skill set no matter where you are.
Right, you would think so. But there are a lot of factors at play here. Companies, obviously, they want to keep costs down. And in some countries, labor can be a lot cheaper. Plus, there's this perception that data labeling is, I don't know, a simple task. So the skills and effort involved are often undervalued.
But it can't be that easy, right? To label data accurately. I mean, think about how much AI relies on the quality of that data.
You're absolutely right. It's not easy at all. It requires a ton of attention to detail. You need a deep understanding of the task at hand. Think of self-driving cars. They depend on accurately labeled images to identify, pedestrians or cyclists or other cars. Any errors there could have huge consequences.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's not just clicking buttons. These data labelers are making decisions that have a direct impact on how these systems work.
Exactly. And that's why we need to recognize their work, no matter where they are.
It's like there's a disconnect, right, between the image of AI we have, all futuristic and stuff, and the reality for some of the people making it possible.
Yeah, you're right. We need more transparency. We need to understand the human element behind all this technology.
I wonder if this is something consumers even think about. Like, do people realize the human labor involved when they use, AI-powered products and services?
That's a really interesting question. As AI becomes more a part of our lives, it's crucial to think about the social and economic impact, especially for these, often invisible workers.
So I'm really curious about the actual types of data labeling these individuals do. What does their, day-to-day work actually look like?
Okay, so imagine training an AI system to moderate content on, let's say, a social media platform. Data labelers would be looking at posts, images, videos, tons of them, and they'd have to categorize them. Like, is this appropriate or inappropriate?
So like content moderation.
Yes, exactly. Content moderation. That's a huge area, and it relies heavily on human judgment.
Wow, that sounds like tough work.
It is, and it can be different depending on what the AI is being used for. They might be tagging objects in images for computer vision systems, or transcribing audio, for speech recognition, or even annotating text to train language models.
So there's a lot of different skills involved. It's not just one type of job.
Exactly. You're right. Some tasks need specialized knowledge, like if you're labeling medical data, you might need to know medical terms. Or if it's for translation, you might need to speak multiple languages. All this shows how important it is to, recognize and value their contributions.
So we've talked about how important and complex data labeling is and how it's often undervalued. So what's next? What are the implications of all this?
That's the big question, isn't it? We need to think about the ethics and economics of all this disparity in the AI workforce. And we need solutions. Solutions that ensure fairness and sustainability for everyone involved. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it, right? Those choices the data labelers make, a little misinterpretation, a misnuance, could really throw off how an AI understands things.
It's like if the foundation is weak, the whole thing is unstable.
That's a perfect analogy. And that leads us to another group of professionals who are super important in this whole process, model validation specialists.
This is to make sure things are running smoothly, right?
Exactly. They're like the quality control experts of the AI world, making sure everything is up to snuff. They really evaluate those models carefully, using all sorts of metrics and techniques to catch any flaws or biases.
Okay, so what kind of metrics are we talking about here? What are they on the lookout for?
Well, there's accuracy, of course. That measures how often the model makes the right predictions. Then there's precision. That's all about the proportion of correct positive predictions. And of course, recall, which assesses how well the model catches all the relevant instances.
So it's not just about being right or wrong, but about understanding the kind of mistakes it's making.
Exactly. A model might seem really accurate overall, but maybe it struggles with certain cases or it shows biases that could lead to unfair results. That's what model validation specialists are looking for. They pinpoint those weaknesses so developers can make the models better.
I imagine this role needs a very analytical mind. What kind of background do these specialists usually have?
It's a lot of statistics, data science, sometimes even software engineering backgrounds. They need a solid understanding of how AI algorithms work, and they have to be able to see the patterns in complex data.
So they're not just judging the AI's performance, but understanding how it actually works on the inside.
Yes, exactly. They need to be able to figure out what's causing any problems and then recommend improvements, maybe adjustments to how it's trained, or even to the model itself.
It's a really important job, especially as AI keeps getting more advanced, right?
Yeah.
And it's being used in so many areas of our lives.
Absolutely. Their work is all about responsible AI development, minimizing the risks, and making sure the benefits are maximized.
And I'd imagine this role is going to become even more crucial as AI continues to evolve.
I definitely think so. The demand for model validation specialists is likely to skyrocket in the next few years. It's a growing field for sure.
Now, we talked about data labeling being kind of a repetitive task. What about model validation? Is it the same or is it more dynamic?
It's definitely much more dynamic. They're constantly problem solving, digging into the data, testing different approaches to improve performance. It requires a lot of critical thinking and the ability to adapt.
So it's not just a checklist then. They're using their expertise to assess the model from different angles.
That's right. Every AI model is unique, so they have to tailor the validation process each time, depending on what that model is going to be used for.
You mentioned AI bias earlier. Could you talk a bit more about that? How does that play into the work of these specialists?
Sure. AI bias basically means the system is showing prejudice or discrimination in its decisions. It often reflects biases that were present in the data it was trained on. So, as an example, imagine a facial recognition system trained mainly on images of people with lighter skin. It might have trouble recognizing people with darker skin.
That's a pretty worrying example. So it's not just about being technically accurate, but also about the impact it has on society and the potential for unintended consequences.
Exactly. Model validation specialists are key in finding and reducing these biases. They can look at the training data for anything that's unbalanced or skewed and come up with strategies to make things more equitable and fair.
It sounds like it's a constant balancing act, making sure the AI is accurate and ethical.
It really is. They need to understand both the tech side of things and how it all plays out in the real world. It's a complex job.
We hear a lot about human-in-the-loop systems in the AI world these days. How does that concept fit into all of this?
That's a great question. Human in the loop, or HITL, means that humans are directly involved in the process, often working right alongside the algorithms to improve accuracy and make sure they're reliable.
So it's not about replacing humans with machines, but about finding ways for humans and AI to work together, right?
Exactly. It's about using human intelligence to complement AI. And HITL systems can take different forms. Like with a customer service chatbot, a human agent might step in to handle those tricky questions that the AI can't quite figure out.
So the human is like a safety net
Hmm.
or a guide to make sure the user has a better experience.
Yes, exactly. Or in medicine, you could have a radiologist reviewing the AI's analysis of an X-ray just to confirm the diagnosis or maybe make some adjustments.
So it's about taking the best of both worlds. AI brings speed and efficiency, but humans bring expertise and judgment to the table.
Yes, you put it perfectly. HITL is particularly important in areas where accuracy is critical, where mistakes could have serious consequences.
Are there any companies or platforms that are using these HITL systems right now?
Oh, definitely. A lot of companies are using them. Amazon Mechanical Turk, for example. It's a platform where people can do small tasks like data labeling and model validation. It's like tapping into a global workforce.
I've heard of Mechanical Turk. It's like a marketplace for digital tasks, right?
Exactly. And there are companies like Appen and Scale AI. They provide data annotation and validation services to companies developing AI. They often use a combination of automation and human oversight to make sure the data is high quality.
It feels like a fast-moving field, with new players popping up all the time. It's clear that human input in AI is only going to become more important.
You're right. As AI gets more advanced and spreads into new industries, the role of humans in shaping and refining these systems is only going to become more critical.
It's an interesting dynamic, for sure. Human intelligence and artificial intelligence pushing each other forward.
It is. And I think it reminds us that even as AI gets smarter, we need to remember that it's ultimately a human creation.
We've talked about a lot today, the details of data labeling, model validation specialists, human-in-the-loop systems. As we move forward, what are the key takeaways we should be thinking about? For me, it's clear that AI still really relies on us humans, on our input, our expertise, even though it seems so advanced.
Yeah, you got it. We hear all the time about how AI is surpassing humans in this or that, but we can't forget that it's not magic. It's a tool, a powerful tool, but humans have to build it, train it, check it.
And it's not just about the techie stuff either, right? It's also about making sure these AI systems are fair, unbiased, used ethically, like we were talking about earlier.
You're absolutely right. AI is becoming more and more part of our lives, so it's super important to be aware of those potential biases and the unintended consequences. We need to be having these conversations, thinking critically, making sure there are different perspectives involved in how AI is developed and used.
Makes you think about the future of work, doesn't it? People worry about AI taking jobs, but what we've been talking about today, it seems more like humans and AI will be working together, each one making the other better.
Yeah, that's a much more realistic way to look at it, I think. AI will definitely change how we work. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think it's going to replace us completely. We'll probably see more of this collaboration where humans focus on the things that need creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and AI can handle the more repetitive tasks, the stuff that involves huge amounts of data.
So maybe instead of worrying about AI taking our jobs, we should think about it as a tool that can free us up to do more interesting, more fulfilling work.
I like that. That's a great way to put it. AI can make us more productive, open up new opportunities, maybe even create whole new kinds of jobs that we haven't even thought of yet.
Sounds like the key is to be adaptable, keep learning, be open to these new technologies, new ways of working.
Couldn't agree more. The skills that are going to be most valuable in the future, they're the ones that complement AI, not the ones that try to compete with it.
So things like creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, people skills, those will be even more important.
Definitely. But it's not just about technical skills. We also need to understand AI better, what it can do, what it can't do, the ethical side of things.
So education is going to be really important, huh? Making sure people understand AI so we
Right.
can all be ready for this future where AI is everywhere.
Absolutely. We need to start these conversations early, teach kids about AI in school, build this culture where people are curious about technology and think critically about it.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it? Seeing this technological revolution happening right now. But it's also a time to really think about things, make sure AI benefits everyone.
Well said. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's up to us to shape it. Through the choices we make, the things we do, the values we prioritize.
I think that's a powerful message, something for our listeners to really consider. This deep dive has been amazing, hasn't it? Learning about all the work that goes into AI, stuff we don't usually see, and thinking about the bigger picture, the impact of this technology that's changing everything.
It's been a pleasure talking about this with you, and I hope our listeners will keep learning, keep asking questions, keep talking about the future of AI. It's important.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time with another exciting topic. Until then, keep exploring,